When the colonists first arrived on the shores of what is now the United States of America, they thought, man, this is the place. It is gorgeous. It is wonderful. And then they proceeded in the next 300 or 400 years to completely destroy the ecosystem. And to kind of give us another picture of America before the colonists arrived, we can look to information. I think it's a book or something called Pristine Nature by Stephen Rich, but we can get the outline from Alexis Baden-Mayer, the political director for the Organic Consumers Association, and she's on my line now. Hey, Alexis, how are you?
Great, Dr. Steve. How's it going?
Very well. Very fascinating information from Stephen Rich and Pristine Nature. Basically, we came to some place that was perfect, and we screwed it up. Could you give us the details?
Yes. Well, first, it's important to drive out of our minds the whole idea of wilderness. One of the things that Stephen Rich explains is that there are no spontaneous Edens on Earth. All of the biodiverse ecosystems that we know are biodiverse because of human intervention. And because of the way we've managed the land, we see human intervention as a bad thing. And we believe that nature, when it's left by itself, does better than nature when we intervene. But the history of Native American impacts on the landscape show us a different picture, a picture of humans not living just as noble savages as part of an untouched wilderness and part of nature, but they are actually managing nature to suit their own needs, just like the Europeans did. It's a form of animal husbandry and agriculture, but it's not one that the colonists immediately recognized because it wasn't the same as theirs. It didn't involve fences and pens and monocultures and huge disruptions in the ecosystem. It was an ecosystem that was managed just as diligently as the agricultural practices of Europe, but it was managed in a way that made it appear to continuously be natural. So instead of keeping animals in pens and managing their breedings, the Native Americans, for instance, would create hunting grounds by burning down parts of the forest to create fields, but also making sure that all of the plants and natural resources that attracted the animals were cultivated. And then at the same time, they managed the animal populations to increase animals that they wanted to eat and decrease the animals that were competitive to them. So it's just very much like the animal husbandry and agriculture of Europe, but it's just done in a more holistic way that allows it to exist in perpetuity. And that's the thing that I believe is most important for us to learn about Native American agriculture and animal husbandry is that by creating ecosystems rather than agriculture that's distinct from natural ecosystems. In creating ecosystems, we can create patterns of food production that can exist for millennia. And one of the amazing things that I learned this week researching Native American contributions to food and agriculture is that there are still intact many of these types of agro-ecosystems in the Americas today. And the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations has picked these out, and they've named them globally important agricultural heritage systems. And some of them exist in the United States. One that's quite amazing and inspiring is the type of farming that is done by the Navajos and the Hopis and the many other distinct peoples who have lived in the area of the Colorado Plateau. And they've been farming for more than 4,200 years. And
Wow.
they've been able to farm the same land without ever limiting the soil capacity to continue to produce food.
Really is amazing when you look at the differences between the two, the idea of establishing a whole ecosystem versus what you said, a monoculture. And today, of course, there's an entirely different view. It is they're not looking at the big picture. Multinational corporations are looking at the bottom line. And let's face it, one of the most difficult places to grow food is the desert Southwest. They're doing it for over 4,000 years. They must be doing something right, and we have lessons to learn from them, to be sure. Alexis, that is fabulous information, and I'm glad that you and I had a chance to take a walk down that garden path, because it's a very nice one indeed. Let's get together again next week, please.
Absolutely.